Hi, welcome to MCI Mandatory Procedure Number 7, taking photos of jobs. Why take pictures at all? We take pictures for 4 reasons. First, to prove that we did the job correctly. Every job is a potential lawsuit for somebody. 2, to help make sure we get paid for the job. The customer wants good before and after pictures to be sent with our invoice. Number 3, to help with marketing our services. And number 4, to help with training and supervision of employees. Not taking pictures creates opportunities for mistakes and costs money. Let's talk about the areas to photograph. Every job has at least 5 areas that must be photographed. First, there's the largest areas. With a rectangular building with 4 sides, normally the most masonry you can get into one picture is 2 sides of the building. Let's pretend that this book is a rectangular building. Here's the front side, here's another side, and then there's the back side. If you place the camera here, you can in one shot you can take this side of the building and this side of the building. If you place the camera here, you can take this back side, you can take this side, all in the same shot. Place the camera here, you get these 2 sides. Place the camera here, you get these 2 sides. What we want to do is take pictures from all 4 locations, if we can do it, if there aren't too many obstacles. And those are the largest picture areas that we take. Then there's the test area. That's the area that includes the test panel that we've been talking about in the previous 2 procedures. And then there's the landmark areas. And that's an area that includes a recognizable object that can be used to show that the before, after, and during pictures all show the same wall. Objects can be mailboxes, address letters, hydrants, or anything else that can serve the same purpose. In Figure 2 in your procedures, the landmarks are the fire department symbol and the 2 drain pipes. If an after picture contains these landmarks, there can be no doubt that both pictures are images of the same side of the building. We get lots and lots of pictures of warehouses or apartment complexes or other buildings where if the pictures aren't marked, you can't tell whether that's You know that's an after picture, but you don't know whether it matches up with this particular before picture, or that before picture, or that before picture, or that before picture, because it's just a picture of a brick wall without landmarks. So the landmark area is area number 3. And then D, or number 4, is the long lit areas. An area that can be expected to have good light for all 3 sets of pictures because of its exposure to the sun. Now often this wall has a southern exposure, but sometimes the wall that has a southern exposure has too many obstacles, trees or overhangs or other objects that might create shadows, and so you have to go somewhere else. Notice that figures 3 and 4, the before and after pictures of this one wall, both appear to be lit equally well. Now those pictures might have been taken at the same time of day on 2 different days, but they also may have been taken of a wall with a southern exposure that didn't have many obstacles, at mid-morning and mid-afternoon, because that's a quality of southern facing walls. And then 5, other areas of interest. Generally there'll be at least 3 or 4 other areas worth photographing. There's no limit to the number of areas that may be considered of interest and photographed. You're never going to be penalized for taking a few extra pictures. The first 3 pictures of each area, except the really big corner areas that show you half the building in one shot, the first 3 pictures of each area, the ones closest to the wall, should be taken what we call square to the wall. And that's what I'm going to talk about now. Now first when we think about taking pictures square to the wall, we have to think about the word focus in two senses. In one sense, the word focus means the part of the wall that's directly in the center of your shot. So let's say I'm trying to photograph this wall here, and I decide that this spot right here that I marked with blue tape is going to be the center of the picture. Then we would call that spot the focus. And let's pretend that this book is a camera or a digital camera and that the lens is right here in the center. Then we'd say that this is the focus of the camera. When you take square to the wall pictures, here's what happens. If I'm going to take this picture square to the wall with that being the focus, then my focus of my camera is exactly as high as that spot. It's also just as far to the left or the right as that spot. Imagine that this wall has a piece of glass in front of it, and it's a piece of glass that's 3 or 4 feet thick, and it's rectangular. It's like an enormous ice cube, and it lays against this wall. If I place my camera on the ice cube or on the piece of glass, what will happen is it'll take a picture square to the wall from the focus of the camera to a spot that's directly on the wall opposite the camera. The line between this focus and that focus will be straight and it will be level. And it will also represent the shortest distance from the focus on the camera to the wall. If I try to take this picture and I put the camera like this, well, that may be square to the wall. I'm sitting right on that glass block. The line between this focus and that focus is perfectly straight and level, and it's the shortest distance from the focus to that spot. If I do something like this, now that line between this focus and that focus is not the shortest distance from the camera to the wall. The shortest distance from the camera to the wall would be this. That's a longer distance, so it's not square to the wall. You take square to the wall pictures by slapping that camera up against that imaginary piece of glass, and then from here I take a picture with that as the focus. From here I take the picture with that as the focus. If I do that, I take a picture with that as the focus. And if I'm right here, then I take a picture with that blue tape as the focus. Another quality of square to the wall pictures is that when you have a rectangular camera like this, the distance between this corner of the camera and the wall and this distance and this corner of the camera to the wall is the same. The distance from this corner of the camera to the wall and the distance from this corner of the camera to the wall is the same. All 4 distances are exactly the same. Here's a straight square to the wall picture. Here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one. Here's how to take the wrong kind of picture that's not square. This one, not square, not square, not square, not square. Notice that if I have to take a picture of a low, like the 3rd row of brick from the bottom, I have to get down really low, take that shot. If I want to take a high picture, I have to get up really high in order to take square to the wall pictures. And that is that concept. All right, let's turn to the middle of page 4 of procedure 7, where it says, for each area. Take a photo. This is how to take the square to the wall pictures. Take a photo from a distance of about 3 feet square to the wall. Then mark this distance with a prop, such as a cone or a piece of tape. Take 4 steps away from the wall and take another square to the wall picture. By the way, when you take the 4 steps away from the wall, look where you're going, please. Remember, safety first. Take another 4 steps back from the wall and take another square to the wall picture. Be sure to look where you're going. Number 4, take additional photos to show the entire wall, the elevation, and to show the entire building with that area in the center. We need to see the scope of the project, which includes landscaping, objects that might be in the way, and whether lifts will be needed. Well, when you're taking those pictures that are described there at number 4, those do not have to be square to the wall. In fact, they usually can't be. If you have a wall that's higher than you can reach with your arms, you're going to have to tilt the camera up a little bit to get it, so you're not square anymore. But the trick is not to stand too close when you're getting those shots, but to stand back so you don't have to tilt the camera too much when you take those elevations. Sending pictures. Within 15 to 20 minutes of taking pictures, send them to the service job email list, attachment 2C. Now let's talk about the before pictures. Take all before pictures before any staining has been done. No one may stain any area until pictures of that area have been taken. If possible, take before pictures at various times of the day and with different lighting. Before you remove anything from an exterior or interior wall, take a picture of it so you can put everything back the way you found it. You'll notice the picture on page 5 of the procedure shows a number of some child's artwork that was photographed before we stained that interior wall so that the stainers could put everything back afterwards in exactly the right locations. Follow the instructions above, the instructions that I just explained, to take photos of each of the following areas: the test area, the landmark areas, and be sure to include the landmarks, the long lit area, and several other areas of interest. For the landmark, long lit, and other areas of interest, simply take the pictures before any stain has been applied to those areas, preferably before stain has been applied to any area except possibly the test panel. In the test panel area, you will need to take pictures at least 3 times before staining outside the test area. So there's almost 3 sets of before pictures. The pictures taken before any staining and before the tape goes on the wall. The pictures taken before any staining but after taping. And the pictures taken after staining the test area. Of course, if you make any changes to the test area, you want to document those with additional pictures as well. When taking the first 3 before pictures of the test area and the landmark area or the long lit area, mark the position of your toes on the ground with tape, a safety cone, or other object that does not create a safety hazard. Keep the tape or other object in position so you can take the during and after pictures from the same positions, regardless of how long it takes to stain the wall. B. The during pictures. Take the during pictures whenever you wish, but always take them in the test area after staining 10 to 30 square feet in addition to the test panel. In any other area, take them after staining 10 to 30 square feet using a recipe that has not previously been used except in the test panel. In other words, take the during pictures after you've stained 10 to 30 square feet on a wall, but then if you change the recipe, you have to take some during pictures as well. These pictures could explain to the judge why you kept going. Take the first 3 during pictures of any area from the positions marked when you took the before pictures. In other words, you're taking those close, square to the wall pictures the second time for the during pictures. It's always a good idea to take during pictures at various times of the day so they will be comparable to the best of our after pictures. C. The after pictures. Take after pictures between finishing an area and leaving the job site for the last time. Take them when the light is best. You can take them several different times if you're at the job site for a long period of time after finishing a particular wall. Take the first 3 after pictures of any area from the positions marked with tape when you took the before pictures. That way you get that nice series of 3 square to the wall pictures, before, during, and after. If you're on a project for more than one day, always take appropriate after pictures again of any areas that have been completed, and when the height or angle of the sun is right to match the before pictures. That is the same time next day. So let's say you've got walls A, B, C, and D to complete. You complete wall A on day 1. and then you complete wall B on day 2. Well, on day 2 you can go back and you can take more after pictures of wall 1, and you can take it when it's particularly well lit. And then when you finish the last wall, you can take after pictures of everything. If you're on a project for more than one day, always take appropriate after pictures again of any areas that may have been completed when the height or angle of the sun is right to match the before picture, that is the same time the next day. And that is procedure number 7, taking photos on the job. But before we leave that behind, very important in addition to the procedure to also have your checklist. Because you're simply not going to be able to remember all of that information about what pictures to take. But with your checklist, you've got the before pictures described, the during pictures described, and the after pictures described, and then all the different kinds of pictures you're supposed to take before and during and after. And you can literally check off this piece of paper to make sure that you do not miss the shot that you really, really need. Thank you very much.